Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? This is Joe Figueroa with a video starting a new series, The Science of Bachata, an in-depth look at the whys but also the hows of all things bachata. Dancers should be able to practice this material individually or with a partner. Although bachata is not new to me, till now I have never felt the need to break down the dance, but fan requests dictate that now is the time. This week's video is going to discuss a rotation during the dance, how to use the steps and certain concepts in order to bring some dynamics to your dance. So take this moment to subscribe and ring the bell because we're starting right now. So in my Science of Salsa video, I got a comment asking about the 360 in bachata.
That is an excellent question.
Here I'm going to show how to accomplish that rotation going clockwise and counterclockwise, the concept of an axis in dance, and steps for both leads and follows. Since this is my first bachata video for this channel, let me first lay out some terminology and thought process. First thing, I count bachata in fours, like cha-cha. As you know from previous videos, I discuss movements. Since a single basic or single movement can be done within a count of 4, I don't believe in a 5, 6, 7. So this will be explained with 1, 2, 3, 4 going to the left or right, forward or back. In addition, that fourth count is not a step usually. It's the tap. In class, I refer to this as the collection. You're going to hear that word a lot because this whole dance is based off of that collection. Also, I have broken down that in order to grow your bachata steps, these components are necessary: direction, pivot, travel, and collection. Understanding these components, when and where to apply them, will do any dancer a great service. That means that anything and everything in bachata can be done to either side. In this video, I will be discussing close position and closed position. All closed positions are closed, but not all closed positions are close. Moving on. Let's talk about clockwise rotation first. I refer to this as a merengue turn because, well, it's practically a merengue turn. I was asked about the 360 in bachata. This is only tricky if you are going for a full circle right off the bat. You don't really have to. Nothing wrong with rotating to wherever you can get to and building on that over time. But if you really want to get full circle in 4 beats, here's how. First, I'm going to get the follows out of the way. You ready? Just keep doing the basic step. It's that simple. As long as you take 3 steps and collect on the 4th, you cannot miss. You could also style a bit with little things like triple steps during the collection, or maybe some sort of body or head roll during the rotation, or a cross step. The lead would dictate where your basic is going, so it's not as if you have to have some knowledge of the movement ahead of time. Look at that as a positive. You have no responsibilities here other than the basic steps. So if it goes wrong, it's the lead's fault. Leads, you have 2 different options with steps here. Both determine how successful you will be. An in-place step or a hook to start with. As I said earlier, the first step the lead takes is the direction step. So point it or place it in the direction you intend to go. So I gave direction on 1. On 2, I step down and begin to swing myself and my partner to my right, pivoting a bit on 2 and positioning my left foot to the direction I now intend. The repositioning step is the 3rd step, which means you have no more steps to take since 4 is always a collection. I would suggest practicing this just to a half circle, then building from there. Now, if you are already past that point, like you can get 3/4 of the way around, great, you have even less work to do. The other thing to consider is using the collection to your advantage. This benefits both leads and follows. For the leads, even though 4 is not a step, it still has movement. So what you can do is continue to pivot during 4 in the direction that you were going in order to get that extra little bit you might need to make it full circle. I do it all the time. Last point I will make here regarding rotating full circle is geometrical. And what's sexier than geometry? Think of drawing a circle on paper. The speed with which you can draw a complete circle depends in part on how large the circle is. So a smaller circle can be drawn quicker, right? If you are in a closed position versus a close position, you might have to put in a little more work in order to get full circle. But if you are close, like this, not only can you get full circle more quickly, it also requires less effort. True close position is being chest to chest, like an embrace, a hug. You hold the partner like so. I like to use my arms to hold the partner rather than my hands. I feel that it guides her best. From here, an in-place step or hook step can work just fine. If this is new to you, I would suggest a hook step. Just make sure that when you take that first step, you bring the partner with you. The lead then brings their weight to their left, follows to their right, and off you go with the steps I demonstrated earlier. In a closed position, the circle is larger, so it means you have more work to do. First thing you want is a proper frame. This is true of closed position also. Here you can have your arms opened a little more, but you still want to keep your partner firmly within the frame. I think of it like holding a bird in your hands, strong enough to keep the bird from flying away, but not so hard that you harm it. Leads, I would suggest raising your right elbow a bit here. It helps to not only keep the follow in frame, it also helps to give you some momentum when the rotation begins. Earlier I mentioned how 4 is not a step, but still has movement. This is a perfect place to apply that. If you don't make it all the way around, you can use that beat to get a little more out of your rotation. I'm going to talk about axis. Leads, notice in either case, once I have stepped my right down, it doesn't move from that spot. Granted, it pivots, but in the same spot. That first step becomes your axis, and your bodies rotate around from there. If your step moves from its original location, then you will struggle to get full circle. That is what a rotation clockwise looks like. Now I'm going to show you my version of a 360 rotation going counterclockwise in bachata. I apply this from my knowledge in salsa, and I find that it fits. And you might find this helpful. Some of the pieces discussed earlier will come into play here. For the follows, still the same thing. Keep doing the basic steps like normal, and you should be fine. Styling like triple stepping or taking a deep step on the travel step in order to go with what the lead is giving can all work. Also, the same idea of rotation to where you are comfortable and then building from there over time is a great way to practice. Bachata is a circular dance rather than linear. There is no quote-unquote wrong way to end up. Leads, ask yourself, what is the assignment of the first step in bachata? It's direction. So take your first step in the direction that you intend to go. The tricky part happens on the second step, the pivot step. This is where you decide how far you intend to take this circle. If it's a 360 you are going for, you should attempt to pivot on one foot full circle, so you can place your third step, which is your left, in the same place it landed on 1. Once you have stepped down on 3, all that is left is collection. Bring your right foot together with your left to complete the movement. From here, what I like to do is lead the follow past me in a straight path like a salsa crossbody lead. In bachata, I call this a left cross for the follow. These two pieces combined give the look and feel of a 360 crossbody lead in salsa. Technically, it's 2 movements though, since it takes 2 counts to get there. The actual 360 was completed in the first 4 counts though. That's what's important here. These are not the only versions of rotations in bachata out there. I'm sure there are others. These are just my interpretations. One thing that I want to leave you with before we finish is that collection is everything. If you remember to always tap or collect or hold on 4, both dancers will find everything else in this dance comes easy. You can look at the 4 like punctuation at the end of a sentence. Punctuation tells the reader that a sentence is complete, that a new sentence is about to begin. It's completing a thought. When dancing, you want to show you have completed one movement and are ready for whatever is next. I'm not sure about creating an entire series on bachata. The dance's need for detailed breakdown is questionable to me, but if you want it, I shall provide. I want to put out content that viewers benefit from, so any feedback that you might be able to give me would be greatly appreciated. Comments, likes, and even dislikes will help me to provide you with the best content that I can. That's going to do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one. And remember, collect! I'm kidding. Keep dancing.